The bye week has reached its conclusion. Thank goodness. Because even as sick as you can get of the Bills sometimes, when they're not playing, it feels awful. It just doesn't feel right. What noteworthy happened during the bye week? Was I the only one? Couldn't have been. Was just hoping maybe see a tweet that says, "Oh, Arian Foster twists ankle stepping off airplane. May miss Bills game." Then I thought, well, I guess that doesn't really matter because then Ben Tate would just run wild. They could probably bring back Amon Green and Dominic Williams, and they would still have a heyday. Let's hope not. But what else noteworthy happened on the bye week? The Jets, who scored 48 points on the Bills, scored 9 points on the same field against the Dolphins and lost by 21. So, the Jets did have Revis and Santonio Holmes at the time, and I'm just trying to make light of that situation or try to look at the glass half full. But Miami looks better than we thought. Anyway, we're not last in the AFC East anymore. The Jets are. We're a game behind the Dolphins. Game and a half, I guess, technically behind the Patriots. So we have 2 games coming on. It's still so hard to be optimistic just because you see at Houston, at New England coming up, and you just predict beatings. Like, we play the Texans this week. The Texans, for the 3rd week in a row, team has more than a week to prepare for the Bills. The Cardinals did, the Titans did, and now the Texans do, and the Patriots will next week because they're on the bye this week. So, what are we going to do against the Texans? Mario Williams had surgery. Didn't really tell anybody. That was a little sketchy, but at least he did it. No more excuses. Mario Williams needs to be effective. I think they need to start putting him on his natural position, the right defensive end. Line him up against the left tackle and let him go to work. Just do that. That's what he's used to. If playing in Houston isn't motivation enough, let's make him comfortable out there. See what he can do. None of that's going to matter if we can't stop the run. Because Arian Foster, arguably the best running back in the league, certainly one of the top 3 or 5. It's tough. It's a tough matchup, especially because of the way we've allowed rushing yards in the past. The linebackers just got to be better. And now I'm worried, obviously, again. Just make Kirk Morrison active. He's a veteran linebacker. There's no way he could be worse against the run than, like, Shepard has at times, or that Nigel Bradham is. And obviously I want Nigel Bradham to play, but, like, think of your matchup situation here. I'm glad Merriman was dressed, first of all. You don't need to scratch him. Because I like Merriman in the capacity that they use him, maybe a little bit more, but a fresh Merriman going out there like a third quarter against a more tired defensive or offensive line, poses a nice matchup. He got in the Hasselbeck's face a couple times last week. Didn't get a sack, but it's worth trying. Potter doesn't need to be active. Like, they might as well cut him. It's pointless to have the 2 kickers dressed. But back to my original point, Kirk Morrison is just a veteran linebacker, knows what he's doing. He just knows what he's doing. If you have Barnett and Kirk Morrison as linebackers, I trust them so much more, and maybe with Kelvin Shepard in the middle or outside, wherever you want to put him. I just trust them so much more, Morrison and Barnett, to make up for a mistake made by one linebacker than I do Barnett to make up for mistakes made by 2 linebackers, or Jarvis Byrd coming up to or George Wilson to cover these mistakes that these linebackers are making. Kirk Morrison won't be active. I'm near certain of that. I just wish that he would be. Because they re-signed him. What the hell for? He hasn't played. That's my Kirk Morrison speech. And I know I've had one before. He deserves to be on the field, I think. think about what I've said about that, and then think about the way our linebackers have played, the way our defensive line has played at times, and, well, how could a veteran linebacker hurt? A veteran linebacker who's had success in the league. Boggles my mind. Defense just has such a tall task. They have to blitz, but then the corners have to be good, and Andre Johnson is there. Owen Daniels is there. Gilmore did all right on Fitzgerald. Get Gilmore on Andre. Kevin Walters on the other side. I guess that outside of Andre Johnson, they don't have a real serious threat at wide receiver, but they like throwing to Foster out of the backfield. They like Owen Daniels. They got a bang bang. They got a bang bang bang. One at each level. Wide receiver, Andre Johnson. Tight end, Owen Daniels. Running back, Aaron Foster. Weapons. Quarterback, Matt Schaub. Very good. One of the more underappreciated quarterbacks in the league. Texans may have gone further in the playoffs last year had he been healthy. And that's his downfall, is that he can't stay healthy. But the Bills can get in his face. Like any quarterback doesn't respond well to pressure except for Ben Roethlisberger, who you can't bring down, but that's something else. You get enough pressure on a quarterback, you can rattle him, force bad throws. That's basic stuff. But in order to do that, you have to, first of all, prove that you can stop the run. And I don't know if the Bills are going to be able to do that. It's just... And they have to, because it's an offense, too. And in all three phases. They just need a whole team effort. Everyone needs to be focused. Don't get mad about Stevie and Calvin and Darius going to London. It's cross-promotion for New Era. It's, because the whole game that was there, the game that was there last week, the Patriots and the Rams. Players travel all the time on bye weeks. I know that you would like that they would stay here and watch film and study and stuff. They're doing that. Trust me, they're doing that. But they have lives too, and they have other commitments. So I understand that. Because I'm in a similar boat. I wish they would take the game more seriously at times. But I don't know that they're not, because I'm not in their house. I'm not in their lives. But I don't blame them for promoting or going on these trips. That's what they do. They're allowed to. It's like a vacation for them. They're only allowed to practice one time during the bye week anyway. So they might as well go on vacation. Arian Foster went on vacation too. But nobody cares about that because they're 6-1. Just the way it is. Bills, Texans. Bills have allowed... 7 games. Here we go. 7 games. The Bills have allowed 16 points per game in their 3 wins. 16. They allowed 16, 17, and 14. That's 47 points. A shade under 16 points per game in their 3 wins. In their 4 losses, they've allowed 45 points per game. In 4 losses, they've allowed 180 points. Where is this coming from? Why is this so Jekyll and Hyde night and day? Somebody explain this to me. Chan Gailey can't. Doesn't have the answers. Now, I'm not going to talk about who do you think could be our next coach? What do you think about so-and-so? What do you think about, who do you think should be our next coach? Whatever. Stop. We have a coach. Gailey's contract might be up at the end of the year, but I'm not going to talk about possible new coaches until we don't have one. Because it's pointless. I don't think they'll re-sign Gailey unless the Bills come back and win a couple games here. More than a couple of games. 5, at least. They're capable. Run the ball this week. Run the ball. Texans, great defense. J.J. Watt. Connor Barwin. Cushing's out for the year. That's fine. Jonathan Joseph, the corner. They got some players. Brooks Reed. Bunch of good guys on that defense. So what? Impose your will. I'm glad to see Craig Urbick might be back. I don't think Cordy Glenn will be back. Chris Hairston played pretty well, I thought, last week against Tennessee. couple weeks ago. Run the ball. Jackson, Spiller, 20 touches each. Seriously. I don't care how you get it to them. Enough, okay, but enough with the screen passes, though. Not enough with them, but don't overuse it. It's so predictable when you see Spiller go out wide and then behind two blocking wide receivers. It's so predictable. And I know you want to get your good players, especially Spiller, your fastest, most elusive player, touches. But you can come up with better ways than that. You get them lined up on a linebacker, let them run a route or something. Let them do it. Just need to, it's, when you're playing a better team that you know is a better team, you have to, A, keep their offense on the field, not make any mistakes, sustain drives, hold on to the ball, I'm all saying the same thing, just coming up with a bunch of different ways to say the same thing. So they have to be successful running the ball. Fitzpatrick has to be accurate with his throws. Utilize, get Scott Chandler more involved, but not on a 2-yard drag with 30 seconds left in the game, please. He seems to be somewhat reliable. Down the middle of the field, down the seam. So he's got great hands. So, implement new ways. Throw something new at Houston. I don't know. Not that I fully expect that to happen, but maybe Bills will just wake up on Sunday and they'll just be efficient. It'll just be their day. We need to show that we can at least compete with these guys. Because I know you're all thinking, wow, Houston is going to murder us. But maybe we can still make the playoffs or something. It's just not realistic. You have to demonstrate that you can compete with Houston. They're a playoff team. You have to demonstrate that you can compete with New England. They're a playoff team. These are games that steal one of them. You get to 4-5. Then you got who's coming up after that? Miami, who you have to beat. Jacksonville, St. Louis, Indy. Winnable games. So split these ones, and we'll just take it one game at a time, okay? Take it one game at a time. But, if you're thinking big picture, the Bills aren't out of it, but they need to demonstrate that they're competitive and that their defense isn't the biggest joke to ever take the field. Because right now, it's the most overpaid, biggest joke to ever take the field sometimes. Sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's bad. 3 times it's been good, 4 times it's been terrible. Actually, 3.5 times, if you want to count the New England game. 3.5 times it's been good. 3.5 times it's been brutal. So they got to right the ship somehow. Are they going to do it this week against the Patriots? Or not against the Patriots, against the Texans? I don't think so. I think Arian Foster's too good. Matt Schaub's too good. I think the Bills' defense is still same thing it was. And I've been looking at this game thinking, wow, 41-20 Texans. But I think I'm going to change that. I don't think the Bills are going to give up that many points. But I do think they're going to lose. Not 41, 31-20. That's it. 31-20. They'll be competitive. I really think they will. I'm not so sure now that I say that. Will they be competitive on the road against the Houston Texans? We have one of the best defenses in the league, one of the best running backs in the league, one of the best offensive, one of the best teams in the league. On the road a couple weeks ago, they got killed by one of the best teams in the league, San Francisco. Can they be competitive against the Texans? I think coming off the bye week, yes, you can be competitive. They're coming off the bye week too, so I think they're going to be better. And they will beat the Bills. 31-20. Guys, thanks for watching. I didn't think this video would be that long, considering I had already talked about last week, but that's Bills football for you. You just get going and talk forever. Anyway, Bills Texans this weekend. Let's hope. Let's hope we can find some sort of answer. Because if we take another beating, heads are going to roll. Anyway, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We're going to be fine. Guys, thanks for coming this far. Really appreciate it. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the Bills game. And go Bills.